Okay, this is video 2 related to three finger techniques, ring, index, middle finger techniques for electric bass, and just showing where I am at this point, about 3 months or so into woodshedding on this. Watch video 1 if you want a little more further explanation as to why and etc. why I'm doing this. On this, I want to just show some one of the big things that I realized that this style helps me with is getting across strings in an uphill motion. And I have some kind of 5-note or arpeggio type shapes that I use all the time. And I'll just do them in G. You could hear my note ringing there. Most of the time I'm not so lazy that I let my notes ring out, but right now I'm just trying to show something. The point being is that if you watch my fingers here, I'm able to get that ring finger in there to take up one of the string strikes on an ascending motion, which allows my other 2 fingers to get into position to play higher strings. Again, I know some guys don't need this. Well, this really helped me. So those are arpeggio type 5-note choices that spell out each chord in like a major scale in this case. So G major, A minor, B minor, C major, B flat major, C major. I just threw that in there because I made a mistake. D7, E minor, D7 or 9, and then G major. So, and I use those shapes all the time. I mean, I also, as a for instance, I've got shapes for melodic minor that I use them in. So I use those for tritone subs, for, you know, playing outside sharp 9, flat 9, alt dominant chords, and for playing pretty melodic minor stuff. But it's that same kind of arpeggio pattern that I love. Which is an effortless. It's effortless to play with 3 fingers, to play quickly and smoothly. It just feels right for me. Now, okay, lastly, I'm going to do a few more minutes of this. You know, how does this work out when you're playing changes or playing songs? Let me just illustrate a couple of things that I did on the bottom half, on the bottom, you know, regular bass parts. I wanted to kind of drill my hand on fast, rapid fire bass lines with consistent, 8/16th note patterns that you would hear from Rocco Prestia and Tower of Power, Jaco Pastorius, and his stuff. And so one of the famous lines, this is probably some, plagiarized version of a Jaco Rocco line, but Jaco uses this a lot. And you see what I'm doing here is I'm so if I were playing like the chicken, the wrong bass line, I know. Whoops, where am I? I don't even know what key I'm in. Dang it. Play poorly. But basically the idea is and so you can feel that kind of driving thing. Again, I'm feeling all kinds of inconsistencies in my 16th notes. There are times when I'm playing this, if I'm really warmed up, that it flows great, but right now is not one of them. Yeah, and so when I get going and I'm really focusing on what I'm doing, those notes can really fly off of the instrument. And usually, as with all things, I think you want to lighten up when you're playing that fast. Okay, so in the same vein, I think this is more like the bass part for the chicken, but in Jaco plays. Right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it straight 16th. So the ghost notes, or the notes that aren't actually notes but just plucks, they're kind of cool. They can add to a groove. Yeah, anyway, so there's that. All right, so lastly, if you're just playing over changes and you want to use this kind of stuff, again, I'm going to play up on my high strings. But, you know, you guys who would shed it on tunes, you know where your chords and scalar notes are, etc.